So there's something you've been avoiding seeing about yourself, and this week's full moon in Libra is about to shine a light on it. Hi, goddesses. I'm Ashley Rose, astrologer, human design reader, and feminine energy and business mentor. So let's talk about this week's full moon in Libra and how it's going to impact your life. So maybe you've already caught glimpses of this full moon energy in your life. Maybe it's showing up in relationship patterns that just keep repeating the same thing over and over and over again. Maybe this full moon has been showing up in your tendency toward perfectionism or trying to be right all the time, which is now slowly draining your energy and damaging your self-perception. And that critical voice inside your head is just getting louder and louder, saying you're not doing this right, or you should be better at that, or your body should be looking differently. You know exactly what I'm talking about, ladies. This full moon in Libra on April 1st is about to shine a light on all of that way, way up. Okay, and here's the thing. The full moon isn't going to ask your permission. It's just going to shine brightly on everything, especially anything that you've been hiding or trying to keep in the dark. Okay, so are you going to be ready for what this full moon is going to show you? That's what this video is about. Let's get into it. Okay, so before we get into what this full moon is asking of you on an individual level, I really want to talk about why this full moon in Libra hits differently, because it really does. And I do not say that for every full moon. First of all, we're currently in a window of 0 retrograde planets. The beginning of 2026 has seen so many planets go into retrograde. Mercury was just retrograde, but finally we're in a time where there are no retrograde planets until May. So that means forward motion in all areas of life. Second, this Libra full moon is the first full moon of the Astro New Year. Remember, Aries season and the equinox that we just had on March 21st, that is the beginning of the Astro New Year. So this is the first full moon of the new year when we're looking at it from an astrological perspective. So this is kind of setting the tone for the next 12 months, okay? So we've just crossed a threshold into a new Astro New Year, all this amazing fire horse energy, new momentum, new beginnings, and then we have this big Libra full moon. So coming on April 1st, this is really a signpost that this full moon is asking us to open up this new year with a moment of truth, okay? And here's the energy of April itself as a month. We're deep in Aries season. There's lots of fire going on. There's lots of action. There's lots of momentum. This is initiation energy, okay? Things are moving really fast. And things are catching fire really fast. And the energy of the month of April is do the thing, start the project, launch the thing. It's really very electric, okay? But right in the middle of all that fire and fast forward motion, we have this Libra full moon that's asking for you to pause, to feel, to reflect, okay? To look inward before you just keep charging forward. And this tension between this fiery Aries energy and this more reflective Libra full moon, that's exactly what makes this full moon so potent, okay? And it all comes down to this one central question that I want you to hold in your heart throughout this entire video. Where are you out of balance? Okay? Where in your life are you leaking energy? Are you trying to stuff yourself into an identity that no longer fits? We're going to spend the rest of the video answering that question. So let's start with understanding what Libra energy actually is, because I promise you it's not what most people think. Okay? So let's clear something up right now. When you hear about Libra energy on the astrology websites or on TikTok or Instagram, they often talk about Libra being wishy-washy, indecisive, people-pleasing, okay? And that can be true. But I want to challenge that, because that's not empowered Libra energy. That's what Libra looks like when it's wounded, when it's suppressed, when it's out of balance. And remember, Libra is a sign of the scales, it's a sign of justice and equality. Libra wants to be balanced, okay? So when you are getting like wishy-washy, people-pleasing, indecisive Libra energy, that can be how Libra energy expresses itself when it's been so conditioned to prioritize everyone else's comfort, so much so that it's lost touch with its own inner guidance, its own preferences. Okay? That's Libra energy that's been taught that having too strong of an opinion is dangerous, or that taking up too much space is rude, and that the safest thing to do is to just stay neutral and keep everyone around you happy. But again, that's not the full truth of this sign. Another thing that's really important to remember is that Libra is the mirror. Libra energy, if you know anyone with very strong Libra energy is actually one of the most perceptive, most deeply aware energies of the entire zodiac. Libra sees everything. It sees all the social nuances in any situation. It sees relationship dynamics that nobody else is noticing. It sees what's really happening underneath the surface. It sees what's really going on and not just what's being said. And Libra at its most empowered, it's not about people pleasing. It's about honest, authentic connection. Libra is all about creating and collaborating with others from a place of genuine connection, not from a place of trying to keep everyone around you comfortable. So empowered Libra energy knows what it wants. And it understands that you cannot create real harmony because, again, Libra wants harmony, balance, and equality. You can't create these things from a place of erasing yourself. And so that's the shadow of Libra energy. And this full moon is shining a light directly on it. Another thing to note is that Libra's deepest wound is the tendency to lose yourself in the other, okay? To focus so much on the other person's perspective, the other person's needs and wants and desires, that you gradually push yourself out of the picture completely. Okay? You become so attuned to what everyone else around you needs that you stop being able to hear what you need. And a lot of us have learned to do this as a survival mechanism, especially women in the world. Okay? This comes from being overly concerned with what others think of you, or really trying to manage how you are perceived, or making yourself seem really pleasant and agreeable and easygoing. So many of us women have been socialized to behave this way. And for a lot of us, that was how we stayed safe. This was how we received love. This was how we avoided rejection or conflict or being too much. This full moon's asking you to see that pattern clearly, not to shame yourself for it, but so that you can see it and then start making different choices. And so really, I want to go somewhere that I think is really important because it connects directly to what we just talked about with Libra's shadow. So this full moon is dismantling perfectionism. And this is happening in a very specific, very deep way. Again, we live in a world that has sold us a very specific story. The story goes something like this. Let's see if you recognize it. If I just get things right, if I just stay nice, if I just make everyone around me comfortable, if I just show up perfectly, everything will be okay. I will be safe. I will be loved. And so many of us, myself included, have been running this program for decades. You know, this is like inner child stuff. trying to have the perfect morning routine. This could look like trying to have that perfectly curated Instagram feed. That could look like that girl aesthetic, right? Always trying to be the cool girl, always trying to look like the girl that's got everything together 100% of the time. And here's the thing. Often when we are wearing that mask, it's exhausting, and really on the inside, we're barely holding it together. And we might even be crumbling. And this full moon is bringing out all of that. So here's what I want to say about that. Your job is not to be the most perfect version of yourself, okay? Your job, your actual spiritual assignment on this earth, why you were born, is to be more you. To embody the woman that you are meant to embody. To create the things that you were born to create. To have the experiences your soul sings for, cries out for. You're not here just to spend the years and decades performing a to-do list of perfection, of checking off all the boxes. You're not here just to present a highlight reel of a life that looks so good from the outside, but on the inside might feel like something is missing. This moon is all about appreciating the real you, the messy, unfinished, still figuring it out, deeply alive you. And this full moon is accelerating the collapse of perfectionism in real time for all of us. Okay? So if this is how you've been feeling, if this resonates, understand there's not a sign that anything is wrong with you. It's actually a sign that you're outgrowing the cage that you've put yourself into. Okay? Just sit with that for a minute. Let this full moon shine on your tendency toward perfectionism and understand this armor, this defense mechanism that you've been wearing. If I'm perfect enough, no one can criticize me. If I'm agreeable enough, no one can leave me. If I hold it all together, I won't fall apart. Lay that down, okay? This Libra energy is very much connected to the shame of not being enough, of feeling like you're too much, the shame of wanting to fit in if you don't fit the mold. Libra energy is so deeply connected to how we are perceived, how we relate, and how we show up in the eyes of others. Okay, so those parts of you that are so clinging to perfectionism are not broken. There's nothing wrong with them. They are not weak. They are scared. They learned a long time ago that being perfect was the price of admission for safety and love. Okay, so be gentle with these parts. They've done their job. They've kept you safe. You're here. You're watching this video. You have food and a bed and all those things. And what this moon is simply highlighting is that you don't need to wear that armor in the same way anymore. You have the permission to begin to set that armor down. Okay? And so just remember that full moons illuminate. That's their nature. That's what they do. So whatever has been in the shadows or something that we've been trying to ignore, a full moon can shine a light on that and bring it out into our consciousness. And so right now, with this Libra full moon energy, this light is falling on a very specific part of your life. That number one is going to be relationships, all of them. Yes, romantic relationships, but also friendships, family dynamics, your work relationships, and I always say, most importantly, the relationship you have with yourself, with a capital S, okay? Libra rules over the relationships and partnerships we have in our lives. And this full moon is turning the lights on that entire area of your life. So whatever's been out of balance in your relationships is becoming impossible to ignore right now. Okay. Another area that this Libra full moon is going to be highlighting for you is your energy leaks. This is something that I want to spend a moment on because I think it's really easy to hear the term energy leak and think that you've done something wrong or that you failed. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is energy leakage is literally a natural part of being a human being who is alive in the world right now, having relationships with others. However, the question this full moon is asking is, where is your energy going that no longer feels right? Okay, so where have you changed? Where have you evolved, but your energy commitments have not changed or evolved? Where are you still showing up for other people, for situations out of habit or guilt or obligation or even fear of disappointing someone else? Okay, so these energy leaks can be showing up as big as a relationship that has been draining you for years, or it can be as small as a podcast that you keep listening to, even though every time you do, it kind of makes you feel bad about yourself. Just noticing those areas of our life where our energy is being drained, showing that there's something that's not quite in alignment. Okay. And so just going a little bit deeper into the actual astrology of this April 1st Libra full moon. So there's a T-square with Jupiter and Cancer. And in the astrology world, whenever somebody hears there's a square, people get all, oh no, there's a square, that's bad, there's tension. Tension isn't always a bad thing. Tension can just be a sign that something is meant to change. It brings your awareness to something that is ready to evolve, okay? This is initiation energy, right? And so that Jupiter in Cancer that is squaring the Sun in Aries and the Moon in Libra, Jupiter in Cancer is actually bringing out the theme of growth through vulnerability. And here's how this could be showing up in your life. You may already know that you're entering a new chapter of new beginnings. You may already sense that a shift needs to happen. You can feel it, right? However, at the same time, you might also be holding a whole new set of uncomfortable questions, like, what skills don't I yet have that I will need to acquire in order to get where I want to go? Or what are the outcomes of these new beginnings that I can't yet predict, that I cannot yet see? What's the new version of myself that I haven't fully met yet? Okay. And this square isn't asking you to just like bulldoze your way and rush through this discomfort. It's asking you to hold both things at once. The excitement of the new beginnings and the new callings that are coming in, and also the tenderness and vulnerability of maybe not being quite ready yet. Okay? You're being called forward. All these things are happening simultaneously. And this is just actually time for you to start now, even if it doesn't feel perfect. This is your sign. A few other minor aspects in this chart. We've got Moon trine Pluto. Pluto, of course, representing transformation, shadow work, the death and rebirth process of regeneration. And so a trine is a really beneficial aspect. So with the Moon trine Pluto, this means that shadow work can be amazing right now. If you have been doing shadow work, if you've been journaling or things like that, this is a great time to continue that work. Also, this moon in Libra is sextile Lilith, and Lilith represents your dark feminine power. So Lilith is the part of the feminine that refuses to be silenced, refuses to be diminished, refuses to be tamed, to be made more pleasant, okay? So your raw feminine power and this full moon are working together right now. I'm literally getting goosebumps. I know that for me, this might be a sign, for instance, that this is a great time to do your glamour magic or to engage in self-care, to do something, wear something, behave in some way that makes you feel seductive, magnetic, sexy, raw, authentic. All of that can be really encouraged under this full moon with that aspect to Lilith. Okay. So to just wrap things up, here are some pragmatic things that you can do to best take advantage of this Libra full moon energy. 1, find the leaks in your life. Find the energy leaks. Where are you out of balance? Okay. Where are you overgiving to people? Where are you losing yourself in other people's needs? Where are you waiting for answers or waiting for permission to begin from someone else? Okay. Where is energy going that no longer feels right for you? Be honest and be specific about this. Okay. Just even seeing it and being aware of it is important. And maybe you wait till after the full moon to send that text message or write that email, but just understand that this is a great time to see just where things might be out of balance. Another thing that you can do under this Libra full moon, again, remembering that Libra is actually ruled by Venus. And Venus is in the sign of Taurus. She just moved into the sign of Taurus, her home sign, as of March 30th. So Venus is very strong in the sky right now. Libra is ruled by Venus. There's so much Venusian energy with this full moon and Libra. So what does this mean? This is an amazing time for you to ritualize beauty. Okay? Venus in Taurus loves beauty rituals, loves sensory experiences, loves seduction. This is a great time to wear that cashmere sweater or wear that silky lingerie that you usually only take out for special occasions. You are the special occasion girl. You can wear it for yourself on this full moon. Light some candles, take that bubble bath, drink some wine, put on some music that makes you feel like yourself. Wear something that makes you feel beautiful. Eat somewhere that feeds your senses. Maybe take yourself out to sushi. Create something, even if it's small, just for you. Do your nails, whatever. It doesn't have to cost a lot, but just paying attention to yourself and feeding back into yourself. And speaking of creating, this is a beautiful time to work with your body, not just your mind, which is why I want to shout out our Spring Awakening embodiment practices inside the Bloom Collective this month. We are doing exactly this work. We are moving the energy. We are coming back into our bodies. We are ritualizing the season of spring. And so if you want to go deeper into this, come join us. The link is in the description. So just remember, under this full moon in Libra, whatever you've been waiting to start, whether you've been waiting for the right time or the right circumstances, the right version of yourself, start it now. Start it imperfectly, okay? Start it without all the pieces in place. The energy of April is extraordinary for new beginnings, but only if you actually strike the match, okay? The real and perfect version of you is infinitely more powerful than the perfect version that you keep waiting to be ready for. Okay, so I want to bring everything back to where we started. There's something that you've been avoiding seeing about yourself, and this full moon in Libra is going to show you what that is. That perfectionism that's kept you safe, you can start to set it down. Okay, those energy leaks in your life, you can start to close them. Okay? And if this video resonated with you, please leave a comment below. Tell me, what is this full moon illuminating in your life? What are you seeing that maybe you weren't ready to see before? I read every single comment. I'd love to know. And also, if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. I make videos for the new moons and full moons, and I'd love to have you be here for it. And of course, again, if you want to go deeper, if you want a community container to actually do the work, not just understand it intellectually, then come join us in the Bloom Collective. It's our monthly lunar membership where we meet every new moon and every full moon, and we work with the energy together. We go deep, we do the real work, and it is a genuinely beautiful space to be in. Right now in our Spring Awakening series, we're actually exploring the art of cycle syncing as a way to align with your inner spring. awakening your energy, softening into your body, and allowing what's ready to be birthed within you to gently rise. So the link is in the description if you're interested in joining. I also have a free cycle syncing guide for anybody that wants to start working with herbs and looking at the herbs that will support you in each phase of your cycle. So thank you so much, and I'll see you for the next one.